Really? Bill Murray did Garfield?
At some point, Garfield was kind of cool.
A long time ago. Like back the very first when the comic strip appeared, like the first Garfield book, maybe.
I don't know. There were things I liked. I liked Normal. There had to be stuff you liked about it.
The only thing I liked about Garfield, he hated mornings. I hate mornings.
Good morning, and welcome to Bounty Hunters with Jess and BJ. We went a bit literal with the title today, as really that's what day 2 of this event is about. Because,
and day 1.
Well, day 1, yes. We had 45 bounties in the field.
45 bounties in the total field.
19 of them are still alive, which means there's $380,000 up for grabs here.
In addition to the normal prize pool for finishing top 45.
Literally, we're going to hand out that, Matt's going to hand out that. We don't get to touch the money. They don't trust us with such things. That money is getting handed out today. There's still $3 million something in the prize pool.
Except for the bounties who survived today.
Yes. Stop nitpicking.
I'm just saying, all that money's not being handed out today.
But before we get to the bounties and the action that we're going to deal with today.
Settle up?
Exactly.
All right.
Yesterday we did the chip leader bet again.
Same line, 175,000 in chips for the chip leader, but we reversed our positions because we were a little thrown off by that whole Groundhog Day thing.
Still don't get it.
And that's really the only reason why she won.
Yes, and my emphatic arrow.
Yes.
When you pick with emphasis, you get rewarded with someone being the overall chip leader. I think that should give me a bonus point, by the way.
No, not going to happen. So today's line is we have 19 bounties left in the field, about 19 now I'm caught up in Matt Savage's math. 19 bounties, 19 tables. How many bounties are going to survive to day 3, 24 players?
Yeah, we are playing down to 24 today, or until, I believe, 1 a.m. was the timeline that we set.
Ooh, okay.
So.
Interesting fact, I changed the line a bit. The bookie set a line of 3.5 bounties. So will fewer than 3.5 bounties survive the day or more?
I hate to be a bit of a downer on this one, but considering that, looking at the chips as they are now, Kara Scott is the top performing bounty in 11th, and there are only 2 other bounties above 100, Mike Mattisau and Chris Ferguson. I'm going to be a bit of a pessimist and say that we're going to see less than 3 and a half. 3 or less.
Assuming we reach 24, this is a very good line, but with the possibility of not reaching 24, plus I'm an optimist, the bounties are some of the best players in the field. I'm taking the over. So one of us will be right, and you will be wrong.
Okay. The bounty format was kind of, it's unique to Bay 101. It's part of this tournament. It's been part of this tournament since long before the World Poker Tour.
1997.
This whole thing is kind of the brainchild of the late Marco Trapani.
Trapani, who was the owner of the Bay 101 Casino.
Matt Savage's mentor,
Yes.
as he has said. Came up with this format, really made this tournament what it is, and this is the first year that we've had it without Marco.
Right, he passed away last summer, I believe.
Yeah, so they did a very fitting tribute of putting his name on top of the title of the event. It's the Marco Trapani Shooting
They
Star
showed
event.
a video on both day ones with players like Doyle Brunson reminiscing about Marco. It was very nice.
But I think the more fitting tribute is what
Yes.
happened yesterday.
Yes.
Our Day 1B chip leader is Chris Trapani, son of Marco Trapani. Both Chris and Marco Jr.
Both played in
were
honor
in the
of their
field,
father.
and I believe they both made it through, right?
Yes, Marco's got in the 20,000 range of chips.
Whereas Chris ended the day with 197,900 chips, which earned him the chip leader honor by just 1,400 chips. That's less than 2 big blinds.
Yes.
He got a lot of those chips in a pretty dramatic hand against a shooting star. He picked up a bounty, too.
Eric Lindgren, they got it all in pre-flop, and they both turned over pocket kings.
They laugh. They do the thing where you make the joke about the chop,
somebody could flush.
Spade, spade, spade.
Yes, and another on the turn, no sweat. Eric Lindgren eliminated Chris Trapani.
Who handled it so well, by the way. It has to be frustrating.
He was smiling when the spade hit, laughing, and when he signed the shirt over to Chris, he wrote, "I think Marco saw that one."
And then later, they kept pointing upwards, and
Right.
we thought it was, gesturing to Marco. But in actuality, there's an office.
There's a window that overlooks the tournament area, and that's where Marco would often
sit and watch the action. So
yes.
quite literally would see it.
Right. A nice touch. They got a great picture that you'll see in the photo blog.
What I really liked too was that I think that the chip leader thing is in the spirit of the tournament. Everybody wants the chip leaders to kind of compete with each other at the end. Joris Springle was the chip leader. He's over here.
With like 3 hands left in the day.
Yeah, we're talking second to last hand of the day. Chris is over here, asks how much Joris has, and then immediately re-raises McLean Carr, who was sitting on about 100,000.
He realizes he's in striking
He's
distance
within
of
about
the lead.
30,000 and gets involved in a big pot with McLean Carr with 2 minutes left in the day. Happened to have kings. McLean said he had ace king, I believe.
Oh, okay. They didn't reveal him.
It was 3 or 4 bet pre, and then there was Redding and raising post, and McLean laid it down, and Chris showed it. But that was enough to get him to pretty much 200,000, and just edged it out and took down that prize, which I think was really fitting.
And ties into the format where chip leader on most day ones is just kind of a trivia question, whereas here it has impact. You get the $10,000 bonus, and it creates that additional aggression late in the day. So it's very much a Bay 101 thing, and it's great that Chris got to honor his father that way.
We keep talking about the bounties, though. We really should take a second to point out the prize pool, the numbers.
Yes, the tournament ended up with 415 players.
Which was a big increase over last year, and I think the biggest we've had in 3 or 4 years.
Created a large prize pool. First place gets a little over $1 million.
Yes, second consecutive $1 million prize pool for the World Poker Tour.
Score.
Top 45 are going to pay. So today we will be playing through the money.
We will crack the money bubble, and then we will play down to 24. But when they reach 36 tables, unlike every other WPT event, they will switch from 9-handed play.
36 people?
36 people, yes. They will switch from 9-handed play to 6-handed play, making it a short-handed tournament from that point to the end, which is cool. The players love it.
Yeah.
And again, it mixes it up compared to other tournaments.
It's also the levels get longer and the structure slows down a bit.
90-minute
here,
levels from this point.
Faster earlier and then slows down. All right, some people will not get to enjoy these things, though, as they were eliminated yesterday. So let's do a quick rundown of some of the bounties, specifically, that we lost on day 1B.
All right. Phil Lack and Jennifer Tilley sitting on opposite sides of the room, and they went out back-to-back within like 5 minutes of each other. Phil Lack was still doing his interview when Jennifer Tilley joined him, kind of did a joint thing.
Aw, that's cute, but unfortunate for them.
Yes.
I think my favorite of the day was that Jordan Young knocked out Todd Brunson, and Todd Brunson didn't just sign his shirt, he gave an expletive-laden monologue all down the back of it that it might be one of the better bounty shirts I've seen.
Right. Again, check the photo blog, and you can read that one for yourself.
Yeah, Dan Cates, who is, I think, the only person to be a shooting star having never played in a WPT before.
Shooting star in his first WPT is an impressive achievement.
He was one of the early casualties.
I think he was first of the day.
He was the first bounty out of the day, but it was because he ran Queens full into Kings full.
Yeah. Tough to blame him for that.
How do you do anything about that? We had some people pick up some bounties, so let's do a little prognosticating. Who is going to be the biggest bounty hunter of this tournament?
Okay, last year McLean Carr, who won, picked up several bounties on the way.
Andy Seth got a bounty at the final table and picked up several bounties as well.
Yes. I'm going to go with, we only have one player who has multiple bounties so far, Stephen Kelly. He's
not a nobody, by the way.
No.
Has a bracelet, is a solid player, has been played a lot on the tour this year, so glad to see him doing well.
Busted Eric Baseball D. Baldwin and followed that up with Barry Greenstein, who comes with a bonus bounty because he also got Barry's book autographed. So Barry autographed the book to him and then the shirt. Technically, he's got 3 bounties.
That's
so
not
I'm
really
way
how
ahead.
it works at all.
All right.
I think Peter Tran has a chance because
he busted
Peter
Phil
Tran
Lack.
busted Phil Lack. He was at a table with Scotty Wynn, Eric Lindgren, and McLean, so he had a chance to pick up 3 different bounties, and it just didn't work out.
But he didn't. Jonathan Little got Scotty Wynn.
Yes, and then McLean doubled through him, cracking his aces in another hand. But I think Lane Flack is one to watch out for, because this guy loves to gamble, and when I saw him on day 1A, any time that a bounty was in a pot, he found a way to be in that pot.
Yeah.
Plus, doesn't Lane just look like he's friends with, Dog the Bounty Hunter or needs his own reality show?
I would watch a Lane Flack reality show.
I would too. All right, so we know we've got these bounties coming up. We're going to play down to 45, or to 30.
24.
24, I'm sorry.
Hopefully.
It's going to be a long day with a lot of bust outs and a lot of money at stake, and then we'll have a better idea, really. 24 to 6, we're going to have a pretty good conception of what we're potentially dealing with at the final table.
Right.
All right, so we got to get out here and start finding these bounty hunters, keeping an eye on them so we can recap the action tomorrow.
We hunt the bounty hunters. What does
Yes.
that make up? Bounty hunter hunters.
Bounty hunter hunters?
We're bounty hunter hunters.
Bounty hunters?
No, we're bounty hunter hunters.
If we hunt the bounty hunters, do we get to keep their bounties?
No, we get to keep the bounty hunters. We're bounty hunter hunters. Okay.
I want the $5,000.
Let's
I just
wrap
wanna be
this
a
up.
regular
Final
bounty
question
hunter.
of the day.
Fine. Favorite bounty hunter?
Favorite bounty hunter. You would think I would go Boba Fett.
Or Jango Fett?
No, Boba Fett. Jango. No. Prequels just don't even count. Boba Fett was awesome. Guy had like 3 lines. You know, they never even said his name in the movie. Became this huge icon. And then George Lucas ruined him in the special edition by just kind of don't even want to get into it. So I'm going to go with Robert De Niro in the 1988 film Midnight Run with Charles Grodin. It's one of those classic buddy films, although it's a bounty hunter and it's bounty, traveling across the movie. Great movie, tons of quotable lines. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
All right, I thought about Boba Fett because
You think about Boba Fett a lot?
I just like the sassy helmet.
Sassy?
Yeah, it's kind of
You look
sassy.
at Boba Fett with all that. He's got a jetpack. He's got a rocket launcher. He's got his utility belt stuff makes Batman look like the Fisher-Price starter kit.
I don't care.
And you call it sassy.
It's the noggin cover that gets me every time. But I had a hard time with this. I'm going to go, it's a bit out on a limb, but I'm going to say Keith Mars from Veronica Mars. He's technically a private investigator, but he and his daughter Veronica do kind of live off of a lot of times him catching criminals, turning them into the police. So I say he's a bounty hunter, if only to get a shameless plug in for a show that you all should go get on DVD.
And I'm sure Child Services loves the fact that this father is bringing his daughter along as he hunts bounties.
If Child
and
Services
things.
were the least of their problems.
So, I would like a photographer bounty hunter. I'm a photographer bounty hunter because I photograph the bounty hunter.
Oh, I was going to say I'm a photography bounty hunter because I want to turn you into the police.
Just don't go to Alabama.